Christmas? Yes. I had a lovely Christmas. Apart from the fact that every year it's ruined by Bob Geldof and his stupid song, Feed the World. I know like he's trying to do something good, but really he's never been to a geography lesson because his lyrics are a little bit odd. Things like, where nothing ever grows, no rain or river flows. I did a bit of Googling and it turns out in 2010 Africa exported 2.7 million tonnes of bananas and also 32% of the world's tea exports. So it's not nothing. Also, no rain or river flows. Yeah, apart from the biggest river in the world, the Nile, flows through 3 African countries. Right, well. So, yeah, the people I feel sorry for, it's not the Africans, it's the Eskimo Muslims. I'll explain why. I especially feel sorry for them in summertime Ramadan because whoever came, people are slowly getting it. Whoever came up with the Ramadan rules, they didn't just go, oh, okay, we're going to fast between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. No, he probably didn't have a watch because he went, oh, we'll just fast when the sun's out, which is totally fine if you live in the Middle East. But not so cool for the Eskimo Muslims. I can just imagine them all like cuddling around, and you know it's July and it's 11:55 p.m. and they're just watching the horizon and they're like, is it setting yet? Is it setting yet? All their food is like laid out ready to go. They're like, it's setting. Eat. Oh no, Muhammad, it's rising. Stop eating. Imagine doing that every day for a month. That's hard. The other group I feel sorry for is the grey squirrels. Because I happen to believe that you should be treated equally regardless of the colour of your fur. But not all people think this. If you go up to Formby, you might be asked, oh, would you like to buy some nuts for the red squirrels? Has anyone ever stopped you in the street and said, would you like to buy nuts specifically for grey squirrels? I don't think so. And I know all the arguments against. I know people say, well, they're not the native ones. But I did a bit of Googling about this as well. And grey squirrels came to Britain in 1876, the first ones, and they start mating at 1 year old. So some grey squirrels can claim that their British heritage goes back 138 generations. Now, if there's anyone in this room who can prove to me that their British heritage goes back more than 138 generations, I will allow you to call them not native. But, you know, I mean, I love the red squirrels too, don't get me wrong. As a ginger myself, you know, I feel a real connection with them. But this is what I worry about, right? Because I feel a bit like a red squirrel myself. You know, I'm cute and ginger, and, you know, people take photos of me, people feed me, sometimes nuts. People look after me now, but what's going to happen when I go grey? What's going to happen then? Am I just going to be treated like vermin? Please don't do that. So, I've been told that the theme for tonight is kids' TV programmes. Is that right?
Hey.
Good. Great. Cool. One of the programmes I loved when I was a kid was, do you know Get Your Own Back? It's like a gun show. I loved it. I loved it so much that me and my best friend made like a radio version of it. And we recorded it on cassette tape because gun shows go really well on the radio. And we'd make like farting noises when someone was being gunned. It was great. So what happens on the show is a kid comes on at the beginning and says like, oh, I'm here, I brought my uncle, and he wears really embarrassing jumpers, and I want to get my own back. Right. They never have kids with real problems. You never get kids that come on, like, hello, I'm here because my mummy sold my Tamagotchi to buy crack. But they're the kind of kids that should be on there, right? They're the kind of kids that need help, and I think those are the kind of kids that should should be allowed to go on there, because I think this would actually sort of save money later in sort of therapy and things like that. If every kid was allowed to gunge an adult of their choosing, I think like the NHS would really win in the long term. Get rid of counselling and all that. Just gunge people. So when I was about 7, I had this teacher and I really hated her, and she was called Mrs. Burgess, and I asked her to go and get your own back. And she said no, and I was like, I didn't know you could say no, because that's sort of like, that defeats the object of the show, doesn't it? If you get your own back on someone who's agreed, is, you know, consenting, that's not really fair, is it? So, because she said no and I had to get my own back in my own way, I actually became an attempted murderer. What happened was, she had this annoying habit, right? What she'd do is, she'd read out our work exactly how we'd punctuated it, just to prove a point. So if you didn't put a full stop, she wouldn't take a breath, and I thought, So, I wrote a really, really long story with no punctuation in whatsoever, in the hope that she would die. Unfortunately, she didn't. So yeah, today is Epiphany. I didn't know if you know that. 6th of January. It's like when the wise men apparently came to Bethlehem and gave their gifts to Jesus. And I was thinking about, what could we, the people of Mellow Mellow, give as a gift to the modern day people of Bethlehem? And I've spent a little bit of time in Bethlehem, actually. I did some volunteer work there, and I nearly worked for the YMCA in Bethlehem. Good story, but I didn't. And one of the things I noticed about it is that they just still called it the YMCA. They didn't like translate it. They had a big sign in English. And I thought, you know what these people in Bethlehem need, you know, living in a country of conflict and poverty? They need the YMCA translated into their own language with their own dance moves. So that's what I'm going to try and do today. So I do need a little bit of help. I'm just going to try and explain it. So I've got the letters that are the most similar to Y, M, and C and A. Hang on. This is the letter Ya. Can everyone say Ya?
Yeah.
Mim.
Mim.
Ka.
Ka.
I think it's really like but. And Aleph.
Aleph.
Okay, great. Well, you're almost ready to sing the YMCA. I just need a few people up to like hold these up. I need 5 people. Come on, guys. I need one more person.
Ladies first.
One more volunteer.
Ollie.
But it's Arabic, right? So
One more.
it's yeah, they speak back. Go. I need one more person. Yeah, thanks, Ollie.
Like answer.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, if you this. Okay, Mim, it's sort of like you're diving like this. Wait. Yeah, good. Okay, this is probably the hardest one. Face the other way. Put your one hand like a chicken arm, and then this hand becomes like the dot above your head, and then try and like bend your body like that. And then each. I'll buy you a drink later.
Oh, good.
Are you ready to do the dance now? We can have a little. If you put the music on, we'll have a little bit more practice on the verses.
Hey.